Welcome back everyone to the Hand Spinner Review Spot YouTube channel. You can click on the link below in the description box to take you to our Facebook page for all manner of reviews and images and all that sort of thing. Anything hand spinner related really. Today we're going to have a look at this guy here. This is the Mini 6-shooter by AlumaFX, and it's a really nice piece. So let's quickly, before we get into it in depth, have a look at it compared to a few others for some size comparisons. So here we have it next to the Turnium from NTO Designs. There it is next to a very nice custom stubby. The Sakura. And we'll pop it next to, oops, a Trillium as well. There you go, that gives you a pretty good idea of the overall size. As you can see, it is mini, but at the same time it's not a really tiny piece, and that is particularly evident when we take a look at it in comparison to something else by AlumaFX, and that is the 4-shooter we have here. Okay, so the quad shooter or 4-shooter, that is the same size as the original 6-shooter would have been. So if you can imagine this with some extra arms, that gives you an idea of just how much the size has been dropped for this mini version from Wes at AlumaFX. So let's get into the spinner itself. This version here is a brass body, in this case a polished brass body, some tungsten weights and some flamed stainless steel buttons. And I think it's pretty clear that it's a very handsome spinner. Everything about it is beautifully finished. It really is a little work of art, actually. I'm really impressed. I mean, as good as the quad shooter is, and it is very good indeed. This is a great spinner in its own right, and it was my first introduction to Wes's work. It just has an extra level of finish detail on the Mini that just really elevates it to another level. This is beautiful. It's got an aluminium body with stainless steel weights, but here, where we've got the brass body that's been polished, you've got the tungsten weights, it just has an extra level of fit and finish quality to it that's really impressive. Inside here, we're running an hybrid ceramic R188 bearing. It's a very nice one, does the job very well, and it gives this, you can see there as well, the way that you have the laser etching, or at least I presume it's laser etching, to give you the serial number, the logo, and where this piece was made. It's just really beautifully done. And in terms of the overall feel, it's got a really nice heft about it for its size. I think I'm right in saying this is over 60 grams, or there or thereabouts at least. And it has a really lovely sensation in the hand. The buttons are very secure, very comfortable, and it flicks backwards and forwards from just about any position really nicely. And if you're worried about getting your finger caught in any of these points, I have relatively small hands, and I have to say I haven't had any issues with that with this. It just seems to slot into the gaps really nicely and flick away from there without any real problems at all. It also, being because the weight is distributed so evenly between these 6 arms, it's so smooth. So if you're someone who doesn't particularly like the some people would term it wobble or bearing lash sensation you get from a bipole spinner, and maybe while you might like tri-spinners and how they feel and that the reduction of that, maybe you want even more smoothness. Well, it doesn't get much more balanced than something like this. It's the gyro effect as you move this around is really satisfying. It's just so nicely done. So what else can we talk about with this? Let's talk about the buttons. The buttons have a lovely ridged pattern on the outside, and that goes down into a smooth concave dish. These have been really nicely polished and then flame anodized. I have some experience flame anodizing stainless myself, and it's quite a difficult thing to get pretty consistent. And now that these are coming out, there's lots and lots of them with these flame buttons, and it works really well. I also have a set of these which are a sandblasted finish in just plain stainless steel, and these are great buttons as well. In fact, to be honest, as much as I find these very pretty, this polished surface probably isn't my absolute favourite. Day to day, I tend to run it with these guys, just because the sandblasted finish makes it a little bit more secure in the hand, makes it feel just a little bit more comfortable. It's got that soft touch feel that sandblasting has. It works really well. As you can see, these are two female sides with a little grub screw in there. They're just excellently made, really, really nicely designed. They're a really nice size. There's very little else to say about the buttons. I would recommend these as a retrofit on anything with an R188 that will fit them. Really, they're really very good. But going back to what you see here, yeah, I mean, let's talk about some drawbacks. Honestly, I really don't think there are any. It's a really nice size, a really nice weight. I can't see many people with whatever size of hand having a problem with this, though it might be termed a mini. It's not a tiny spinner. You know, you take it and put it next to something as ubiquitous as the Stubby, and you can see these are relatively similar. You know, there isn't a huge difference. And sure, the Stubby isn't a huge spinner, but at the same time, it's become one of the real benchmarks. And when you sit them side by side, sure, you know, it's there, but it really doesn't lend this one to feeling like a really miniaturized spinner. It's just miniaturized in the sense that the original pieces from AlumaFX were pretty hefty, and it just, for me, makes them much more approachable for lots of different hand sizes. It's so comfortable to use from any direction. I was looking for ergonomic issues, and I can't really find any. I honestly think this is one of the best spinners that you could choose on the market at the moment. And that brings me on to another factor, which is the price. These are incredibly well priced. This is running at a little over $100. And there is the aluminium version with the stainless steel weights, and that takes you down to about $60, which is absurd value for money. In many ways, I would say these are underpriced. And Wes is kind of doing himself a disservice by selling them at the price he is. Not that we mind, of course, that's no problem. Now, this brings us on, because I've failed hopelessly trying to find anything wrong with this spinner, really. This brings us on to my final point, really, with this, which is how beautiful it looks spinning in the right light. I've said before in videos that I really enjoy polished spheres on spinners. I really like how they reflect the light, how you get multiple points of reflection off them, and you get kind of a little light show off the spinner as it's spinning. But as you can see, this is beautifully balanced. There's virtually no wobble. And on top of that, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think the video will show it, but in the right light, you get streams of different colours and reflections off of this that are just beautiful. It really is an exceptionally relaxing spinner to use. It's really, if you want a spinner that's therapeutic in that regard, I think this is a really nice choice. So yeah, that is the 6-shooter, the mini 6-shooter that is, from AlumaFX. Honestly, head over to the Facebook group for these and drop Wes a message if you're interested in them, because, I mean, really, they're so easy to recommend. It's quite remarkable what he's done here. Thank you very much, guys. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.